Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the all-new 6th generation 2026 Toyota RAV4. This is a limited all-wheel drive. It's finished off in Storm Cloud, and this is powered by the 2.5-liter inline 4-cylinder hybrid. It's paired to the electronic CVT transmission, and being all-wheel drive, pumps out 236 horsepower, along with 163 pound-feet of torque. Now this weighs in around 3,800 pounds. It also has a fuel capacity of 14.5 gallons. You'll expect to see 44 miles per gallon in the city and 39 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 105.9 inches. Its overall length is 181. It has a width of 73, a height of 66.5, and its ground clearance measures in at 8.1 inches. Now with the limited trim level, you'll notice that we have a very nice design for the 20-inch wheels, and there's some trim accents that set it apart from some of the other models. You'll notice up front with the body colored grille, this gets the brushed aluminum accents there. There's also a forward camera along with all the parking sensors, and then LEDs for all of the lighting, which have a nice dark housing to them, integrated nicely around the bodywork, and then there's fog lights in the trim accents in the middle section. There's also some more cutouts in the lower section of the bumper there, and then really nice hood lines for both sides. Now coming back to the side, there's the two-tone design for those 20-inch wheels. And then you'll notice there's plastic fender flares, both front and rear. There's also some plastic in the lower bumper, and it's also on the side skirts as well. Now with the Limited, you also get this flush design, just to give it a clean look. Now there's also gloss black for the mirrors, which have a camera and a turn signal. This gets gloss black for the roof racks and a full panoramic sunroof. And then as we take a step back, really nice lines, especially in this back door here. And then you'll notice this trim accent that goes from the cargo window all the way to the spoiler and back. Where this has the third brake light, wiper blades mounted in the lower section. There's also LEDs for all of the lighting, backup camera with all the parking sensors, some more gray trim for the lower bumper. And then with the hitch, this can tow right around 3,500 pounds. Now you have the control on the key fob or the button up underneath, where you can also lock the vehicle too. So you have two buttons up underneath there. And you have a good bit of cargo space with the back seats up. You'll notice there's a storage net here along with an outlet. You have cargo lights, and then this even has the spare tire where you could use it for extra storage if you needed, which is nice. JBL is the audio system for this model. You have this cover here, which is removable, and then you can fold the back seats down for even more interior cargo. And then there's two controls up top to close the liftgate or to lock the vehicle as well. Now as we work our way to the interior, this has a really nice gray design for these soft touch materials. There's a little bit of storage down below. You could use the grab handle area for additional storage. All of the hybrid components are up underneath the seat here. And then in order to fold these down, simply pull the release, or you can fold these flat and you have a large opening for additional items. Now at my height, 5'10", I have a good bit of space. Now with the Limited, you do get the easy entry exit seat. So it does move backwards. When you hop in, it will move forwards into its position. So this does go forwards, but even then I have a good bit of space. Now you get heated rear seats. There's auxiliaries and vents. And then at my height, I have maybe 2 inches or so of headroom. So it's not bad. You could be a little bit taller than me and still fit in the back. Now you also have your cup holders and armrest and that cargo window to help see around this pillar, which is nice. Now with the Limited, you also get memory seating adjustments. You have window controls, side mirror adjustments, more storage down below, and you get power operating front seats with some neat designs in the insert. And then as we hop in and start this up, this has a leather trimmed steering wheel. On the right side, there's all of the cruise control settings, distance pacing, lane keeping assist. On the left side, there's tuning, volume, voice commands, and then you can go through the digital gauge cluster. So if you go left and right, you can pull up these preset diagrams to bring up all this information. And then if you go up and down, you can control info on that left side. Right side is going to be fixed, but you have quite a lot that you can go through. Now on the left, there's a dimmer switch for the gauges, power liftgate. You have fuel cap release down below. You get more of the material that you saw on the door panel, which is nice, underneath one air vent. And then you have the large infotainment system. Now for the home screen, you can swipe through all of this and you can customize it depending on what you use the most. You can also get into the navigation along with music, pair your phone, and then you have a lot of settings to go through as needed. Now, still within the screen in the lower section, you can get into the heated and ventilated seats. There's also an auto control. There's the heated steering wheel. You have temperatures where you have physical buttons that you can use too. Fan speeds in the middle, there's volume, defrosters, and you can even get into the rear adjustments too with the rear heated seats. So that is nice to see. Now, Toyota has also updated their voice commands to make it much easier to use. Hey Toyota, turn up the fan speed.
Raising the fan speed.
So you don't have to use it as a touchscreen system, which is nice. You have vents underneath that, dual wireless charging with tons of space. You get a lot of storage underneath, and then you do have different driving modes. It will change on the gauge cluster too, so you can go through these as needed, and you can go through the EV modes too, so if you'd like to use that. There's a trail and snow mode, normal mode too. There's auxiliaries, downhill assist, traction control. You even get parallel parking, which is a nice feature. And you also have the camera system. So you can go through this, swipe through, and then you have your backup camera, of course, and then your forward-facing camera. Now with the shifter in the Limited, this is what you have. So you push it forwards for reverse, down for drive. If you do that one more time, you can use the regenerative braking, which is nice, and then park's located in front of that. You have two cup holders, auto hold and the e-brake, and then the center armrest actually opens up two different ways. And then if you push on both of the releases, you can actually completely remove this where you have a lot of space and then flip it around. And this will give you some storage that you can use on top. You have a locking glove box, storage up top, and then this has garage door buttons on one side and controls for the digital rear view mirror on the other. So you can go through those angles as needed. You have controls for the sunshade and sunroof, along with dome lights and a sunglass holder too. And then here's a look at visibility, where you have a lot of glass. So it's very easy to see over both shoulders. As we set up behind the wheel now for this Limited RAV4, I've been able to drive pretty much all of the trim levels today. So this is the last one. And honestly, I think this is my favorite so far, just with the creature comforts that you get in the Limited. You get the memory seats, you get the ventilated seats. Everything else is about the same, but some of those features, the easy entry and exit where the seat moves, I think a lot of those should be standard or options on the other trim levels. So if you want those, most likely you will be going with the Limited here. But I think this is really nice. You do have the option of going plug-in hybrid or non-plug-in hybrid too. And I've been able to film both of them. They all have really good power, and again, just depending on the trim level and what you are looking to spend. We don't have official pricing for the RAV4 in general, but we do know they're going to start in the low $30,000 range. Now, with this model here, quick loop out on the highway, they all have seemed to be driving very nice. They're very comfortable, very smooth. Not a whole lot of road noise and wind noise, so it would make for a great daily driver, as a lot of people rack up miles on the RAV4s. Now, with this Model 2, we also have that B mode, which is the regenerative braking. It's not quite like one-pedal driving in terms of how it's going to slow the vehicle down and charge, but if I let off the accelerator, we're going to slow down a little bit quicker than you would just a normal drive and coasting, but it's not going to come to a complete stop, but it will aid in charging the batteries because you can use EV mode while you are at slow rates of speed. So it's about 15, 16 miles an hour. It will cut off, so you can use it in parking lot situations, backing out of your driveway, things like that. It's not like the plug-in version, which you can go higher in your miles per hour with just the EV system. So you have that there to use, or of course you can use some of the other different modes. So from sport mode, here we go. Sounds pretty good too. And not as much power, of course, as the plug-in hybrid, but I would say it's adequate enough to get up, to merge, get onto the highway, and things like that. I do like the power in the hybrid more, but for this model here, again, it's pretty adequate. This is also the only trim level that has this different shifter. The rest of them have the actual or the traditional gear selector, so this one does have a little bit different of a design for that aspect, which I think is good for storage purposes, because you can easily grab items in the slower section and not have to worry about that shifter being in your way. So if you have some large items to utilize here, it just makes it that much easier. But this would be a vehicle that you can really rack up the miles. From what we've been able to see today with just the normal gas version here, you're looking at maybe 500 miles or so on a tank. So the MPG is fantastic for this 6th generation RAV4. And still in sport mode, here we go. And we can get up to speed. So again, I think it has a pretty good amount of power, and you do have the different driving modes. So it will adjust your throttle response depending on the mode that you would like. And here's what it's like to be behind the wheel for the latest RAV4. What I like about all of the models that I've driven today is that we have very solid materials. Now there's some plastic up top, but nothing rattles. Everything feels super solid, especially for the pricing. Starting in the low 30s, we could estimate this might be in the 40s. I'm not exactly sure on that, but we have some really nice options, but it's a very sound SUV. So if you're looking for something that is not crazy expensive in a world where a lot of vehicles are pushing or over $50,000, for a brand new vehicle like this that rides and drives very nicely, and we have a well put together vehicle, this is a great option to go with. As far as headroom goes now, 5'10", I have about 2 or 3 inches, and we do have the height adjustable seat. It doesn't go down too much further than that, so you might be pushing it at 6 feet or taller, but it just depends on your body style and your personal preference with that. But we even have the nice features like that. So if you have passengers in the back, you can easily view everything behind you. So of all of the RAV4s that I've driven today, I like the GR for the power, that is the plug-in hybrid, but I do like the amenities that this model has. So if you want some more of those creature comforts, this is the perfect trim level for you. But that is going to wrap it up for the 2026 Toyota RAV4 Limited. Huge shout out to Toyota for inviting us out to this event to film all of the trim levels. So take a look at the rest of the RAV4s that we have filmed at this event. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.